Hello, everybody. This is Mr. Lu again, and today we'll talk about retirement. And it seems to be an impossible goal for many people in Singapore. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I also think that it's nearly impossible. Okay. So before we start, we appreciate everybody give a like and subscribe. And I'll be posting more videos on a daily basis now on finance. I've avoided any more political and election topics since it's over. But I think it's important for us to discuss some of these very important financial, wealth, and retirement issues. And most importantly, I'll be talking about a few points, how to handle it, especially the most important one is my last point, which is going to be, again, very controversial. And it's going to invite a lot of hate comments as well. I also would like to tell everybody that, you can disagree with me, but you don't need to be rude, right? You don't need to be rude and you don't have no class, okay? So that reflects very poorly on you. So I appreciate. Let's stay gentlemen in our disagreement, right? We can agree to disagree, right? So and for those people who expect me to be unbiased, expect me to be fair in my comments, no, I will not be, because investment is a very personal thing, right? It's a very opinionated thing, and all of us have our own opinion what is good, what is bad. Now, it doesn't mean that what I say is 100% correct, but this is what I feel, is what I think is best for myself. And as usual, the disclaimer, do your due diligence yourself. I'm not telling you to how to invest. I'm just telling you what I think is the best way for myself, okay? So anyway, today's topic is about reflection of what I saw on two bloggers online that talk about the magical $1.9 million needed for retirement in Singapore. Kelvin Learn Investing. Kelvin is a very nice gentleman. He's got a big following on YouTube in Singapore. And he came out with a video that talked about needing $1.9 million for retirement. Okay, I'm not going to challenge the mathematics of it. He's probably correct, okay, based on his calculations. And famous AK also talk about this magical 1.9 million. His focus was a bit different. His focus was that, through CPF you can raise 1 million, through banking stocks and stocks you can raise another $1 million. So you're fine for retirement, right? I'm going to take a different stance today, right? I'm going to say most of us will die. Okay, most of us will die if we don't do it. If we believe, if we just, if we just take this number of $1.9 million and let fate and destiny just descend on us. So the first question is that, do you think you can do $1.9 million on retirement? Now, of course, AK has this famous phrase of saying, if AK can do it, so can you, right? So now I've been teaching about financial management, about wealth management in my 1865 movement, in a hope that most people will be able to raise at least $1 million upon retirement. It will not be luxurious living, but it will be okay living, right? And I've also taught the Kung Fu all the way to 4M65, right? 4M65. And that should be much more than enough for most people. But I also came to a realization that very few people are going to be able to do it, okay? Because of all the reasons, right? Maybe you're too old when you realize this thing. Maybe you don't believe. Maybe a lot of your money are stuck in your house. Maybe you have financial commitment. Maybe you're just unfamiliar with this whole thing. For whatever reasons there are, there's going to be a whole chunk of people unable to hit 1 million, unable to hit $1.9 million. So you're going to die in Singapore in your retirement, right? That's basically what it means, right? If you don't have $1.9 million by retirement, yeah, you're gonna freaking die, right? That seems to be the conclusion, right? Today I'm gonna give you some tips that, assuming that that $1.9 million is an elusive dream for many people. Now I'm gonna say this, and not every one of you gonna like what I suggest. Not all the ideas are practical in your life, but these are some ideas I want to talk about, right? Number one is plan early. Plan early. Don't assume that things will just work out, right? Don't just close your eyes and leave the problem to another day. If you don't start planning your retirement right now when you're young, you will kena jalat when you are old, okay? I can assure you that, right? You have to start planning in your late 20s and early 30s. If right now you are 40s and 50s and you haven't started planning, then good luck to you, okay? So tell your children, if you are young, tell your peers, right? Retirement planning starts young, in your late 20s and early 30s. Anything later than that, you're gone, okay? I just want to hit very hard on this one so that a lot of people will suddenly have a shock, right? Now, for those people who are above 30, 40s and 50s, don't worry, I got some other suggestion. But those people who are still in time, plan early, right? Go check out my 1865 video. Go watch my past video. Go, even if you don't believe that CPF and the things Mr. Lu say is correct, go learn from some other people. But you have to start now when you're young. If you wait until you're late, yeah, you stand by the Kongka Kiao, man. Yeah. So this the second thing I want to say is that invest well your CPF and your non-CPF, right? Invest well doesn't mean that you're going to use it to invest in stocks or whatever, but deploy your CPF very carefully. Put your CPF into your SA and MA to quickly let the power compounding run. And most importantly, upon 55 years old, don't take out your CPF. Don't be mad, okay? Keep your CPF, especially in your SA and MA or RA. And even your OA, go and deploy them in T-bills or things like that, but keep it within the CPF system, because once you take out, okay, you cannot put it back easily, right? I know it's not cannot, but it's more complicated. So I know a lot of people will have struggles overcoming this thing. A lot of people don't believe in CPF, but this is something that you really need to do, is to invest your CPF well, okay? Take care of CPF. And also for your non-CPF, you got to learn how to invest, right? Cutting down your expenses is a must, right? Now, you need to learn how to live within your means. And, for those people when you're grown up, you still don't know how to live within your means, then something is wrong, right? Now, I think for a lot of people, you like to enjoy your life first, and then later when you're old, then you start worrying about retirement. I think you should flip the sequence around, that you struggle when you're young, right? Be very thrifty, be very frugal when you're young, and across certain age, you can become easygoing. Myself, I very, very thrifty and frugal when I was very young. Now that I passed the age, I whatever I want to eat, I eat. Whatever I want to wear, I wear. Whatever I want to live, I can live, right? But once I build up a habit of frugality, I still keep a lot of the frugal habits. So I suggest that this is a good habit to start, right? So don't wait until you're old to decide that, then you cut down expenses. That's way too late, right? Start frugal and then go liberal when you're older, and not the other way around, right? So that's very important. Here I also want to do some grumbling, because I think one of the biggest expense in Singapore is property, right? Huge expense in a lot of people is going to disagree with me. We fight non-stop on this topic. I'm going to say what I want. This is my channel. I seriously think that, that you got to be careful putting too much money in a property for two reasons. Number one is that you pay a hell lot of interest to the banks, especially now when the interest rates are sky high, right? I think between 3.5 to 4% right now. Do you know how much of your money goes to the bank right now? And I don't know how long this high interest rate environment will stay. It could stay for some time, right? So if this inflation environment doesn't hit that magical 2% that Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve Chairman, wants, your interest is going to stay sky high for a long time, And then whatever high leverage, you buy some big condominium, landed property, thinking that one day you can sell it for retirement, right? That's going to be a big assumption, okay? So because a lot of your money gets sucked in by the banks, right? So a lot of your wealth are being eaten up by interest. Second thing is that we have always assumed that by the time we retire, the property prices will stay very high, and you could sell it and extract some numbers, right? I'll be very frank with you. There's something that I've been trying to urge the government to reiterate, but they refuse, okay? And is that, that your leasehold 99 HDB and your condominium will go to one big fat zero at 99 years. I say this many times, right? Which means that now it's rising, right? The tide is, there are cycles, right? It's rising high. At some point of time, it has to come down. You realize that? it won't be like rise until the last day it drop down to zero. It has to go down sometime, and if every houses reach a certain point and start to go down, I think your assumption will be a very big assumption that you can extract a lot of retirement value upon your retirement. And don't forget, selling your house on retirement to move to a smaller house, it may be quite a lot of adjustment to your own lifestyle. Anyway, I'm not going to debate on that, right? Now, of course, you could rent out your rooms, your HDB rooms, when you retire, and that should fetch some good numbers, and that's a lifestyle that some of us may have to settle with. Okay, it may not necessarily be a bad thing. I don't like it. Okay, but some of you, if you have tenants in your house, you could, in that sense, be like a small community center. Then you have some social interactions, which is good for retirement anyway. So think about renting out your rooms, okay, upon retirement, so that your income continue to generate, right? So that you don't need to count on that magical $1.9 million that is needed for your retirement. That's quite scary. And the other thing about generating cash flow upon your retirement is that, don't think about retiring, right? Think about doing something that is gainfully employed, but you like as you grow older. Now, some of us can't wait to retire at 65 years old, but think about extend it to 70, work part-time, work half-time, work one-third the time. Some of your employers will be very happy if you could stay as an advisor or do part-time work, because you've gained so much experience, right? Talk to your employer upon retirement at 65, 70 and say that, I'll take one-third the pay, right? I'll work only 1 or 2 days. I'll train the young people. I'll provide some oversight. I'll do some admin work, whatever, right? Those income will be, and it doesn't stress your body at that age, right? My father, 85 years old, still works, 85 years old, no kidding, right? He do some light admin work, but he still works. It keeps him gainfully employed. His mind stay alive, and that's great. I encourage everybody to explore retirement work that you enjoy, right? It could be some small little businesses, like selling on Carousel or whatever stuff they could do, or provide some light tuition, for example, right? Teach 1 or 2 students. Some of you have great experiences in certain topic. A-level subjects right now, right? 1 hour tuition fee, $128. $120. You just teach 2 hours, that's 240. 1 month, you just teach 1 student 4 weeks. That's for 2 hours each time. That's 4 times 4 times 240. That's $1,000. Just teach 1 student 2 hours a week. For example, some of you will be able to do that, right? You have amassed a lot of experiences, right? So stay gainfully employed. Do some light jobs on the side, and so that you don't need to have that unbelievable $1.9 million, which I suspect is a real number that we all might need, right? But as long as you have some gainfully employed income on the side, then it's not so stressful, right? Last point, which is the most controversial point at all, frankly speaking, staying in Singapore for retirement can die, really can die, If Mr. Lu is saying that, I don't know how many of you have that. If you agree with me on this one, say yes, okay? It's increasingly expensive, really expensive, right? Madness. Some of the prices are really mad, right? Now, not everything is expensive, but a lot of things are getting very, very much more expensive. I've never thought that buying my Malaysia house for myself is to become an economic refugee or a cost of living refugee to stay there. But increasingly, there's a part of me that says that, maybe I'm going there as a cost of living refugee, right? For me, I always buy my Malaysia house more for holiday house, more for part-time retirement over there, But increasingly, I think, that might be a possibility. It might turn out for myself or for even other people. I was recently in Portugal. There's a lot of Europeans and United States Americans that actually sought economic refuge in Portugal, because Portugal is really a cheap place. Things are really cheap. Taxis are cheap. Uber are cheap. Food is cheap. Hotel is cheap. Clothes are cheap. Everything is cheap there, right? So there's a lot of people in that sense are staying there because it's a very nice place for Retirement. Now, Portugal is too far away from Singapore, but Malaysia, JB, Malacca, KL, Penang, Ipoh, wonderful place, right? And you know what? Before some of you all start arguing me about things, I'm not the one that is saying it. A lot of people are doing it already. You know why I know? Because my agents are telling me telling me that a lot of the houses, a lot of houses are being snapped up right now in JB, okay, by Singaporean. Why were there suddenly such a big uplift? It can't be there's a huge appreciation coming. Okay, I don't think Malaysia house has much appreciation to talk about for Singaporeans because of powerful Sing dollar, but the cost of living in Singapore is really done expensive. Okay, done expensive, and I don't need to teach you. So explore this as there's a possibility or even an eventuality, right? So this is a very controversial point. Nobody likes to leave your homeland, okay, to another place, right? But I think for me, I like JB because, at least when I want to come to Singapore, it's easy, right? Okay, or why not go to JB is easier. Now, ignoring the 9 hours jam and the 7 hours jam, and some care we have to take care of ourselves in case we get pickpocket or robbed, there's an extra care that we can protect ourselves. But, this might be an eventuality, and this might be, unavoidable. So start your planning, right? Start planning. And I'm sure if the whole Singapore descend on Malaysia in JB, I think all the property prices is going to go out of reach, right? So let's hope that only few people think about that as an option. Okay. So anyway, the last point I want to say, which is an obvious point, is stay healthy. Stay healthy. You realize that one of the biggest costs of living when you retire is healthcare, right? A lot of people has the sun cow, the three highs, right? High blood pressure, high cholesterol, and high blood sugar. So these are now the one that's most difficult to avoid is cholesterol, but the other two are quite avoidable, right? Manage your weight down, right? I've done many talks on this topic before. Bring your weight down. I was 90 kilogram and now I'm 70. It can be done, right? It's not easy, but it can be done, right? Bring your weight down, live healthily, engage in a very fruitful social life, okay, with with people around, then you live very happy and your life will be good. So collectively in this, once you bring your health to a very good level, okay, your cost of living will go down because you don't need such a healthcare expenses anymore, right? So anyway, think about it, right? $1.9 million is what we need for retirement. Many of us are going to die if it's $1.9 million, right? Now let's assume the $1.9 million is correct, okay? Then what are you going to do, right? I offer you some tips here. If you agree, let me know. Disagree, let me know, okay? Thank you for watching my video. And remember, hit the subscribe and like, and I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Thank you, bye.